All right, you got your hands where you need to be?
Yes.
All right, we've been talking for the past like 5 minutes about where you need to put your hands, but right there is good. Okay, don't move ever.
It's the details.
Right.
Right.
All in the details.
It's the next episode of Behind the Star.
That's right.
And
Episode 6.
With us is, one of the more exciting episodes, I think. SID, they've all been exciting. However, SID is a completely different monster altogether. The Special Investigations Division.
Lieutenant David Higgins. How long have you been here?
Almost 22 years next month.
Next month,
That's too
22
long.
years. And what was your journey to Special Investigations as their leader?
Oh goodness.
Quickly.
Started out on patrol.
Right.
Went to criminal investigations. Went back to patrol.
As a lieutenant.
Well, I promoted to sergeant.
Sergeant first.
Went back as a sergeant in criminal investigations. Promoted to lieutenant on the road, and then the sheriff called and asked if I would take over
You got that
Special
call,
Investigations Division.
made that walk into his office, and then came out.
Now,
as
when we say
leader.
special, it's not like, hey, I'm special. Why aren't they investigating my crime? No, it's a completely different umbrella that you guys investigate. You guys investigate certain crimes which involve vice crimes. Now, the vice crimes are...
So we deal mainly in narcotics.
Uh-huh.
We also do prostitution stings, and if there is an illegal gambling situation here, then we will look into that as well.
Which we don't see very much.
We don't see that.
At least at this point in time. But you never know.
The biggest problem here is narcotics in Bay County.
That's
Huge
correct.
problem in narcotics. And part of what SID does is they get a search warrant and they go and search and hunt for those narcotics. Now, when it comes to getting a search warrant, it's not just, hey, judge, I want a warrant, give it to me. There are many steps that you have to go through in order to get them. We're not just out violating people's rights. There are steps.
Right. We have to have probable cause and be able to prove to a judge that there are narcotics use or narcotic sales being done at a residence.
And probable cause is a burden of evidence. We can
Right.
show through investigative techniques we won't go into that
Right.
you have reason to believe this is going on.
Correct. If the judge reads it, and if he agrees with us, he'll sign it. If he doesn't, he won't sign it, and we'll have to get more probable cause to get into the house. But yeah, every house that we enter, we have reason to be there.
Now, when you go in and search, you're looking for, most of the time, narcotics. There are so many different narcotics out there. It's insane. Like, it seems like every other day there's a new report about some new drug that's hit the street, which you guys have to keep up on. So as of now, go ahead and list a few. Putting you on the spot. Go ahead and list a few of the big drugs that are out there here in Bay County, right here on the streets.
Methamphetamine, fentanyl, crack cocaine, cocaine, GHB, and marijuana's there as well.
Okay. So when we talk about the big ones, methamphetamine, you and I and Ruth, we just say methamphetamine, but there are different types of street names for it as well. What are those names?
A few of the names that I'll go over is GHB is called water on the street.
Because it is in liquid form.
It is in liquid
looks
form.
like water.
Methamphetamine is clear. And then
Or
heroin.
powder form, is that not correct?
It comes in a crystal, and it's normally broken down into
A liquid
or
to
a powder form.
powder form. Okay.
And heroin is called boy. Fentanyl is fent.
Yeah.
So,
And by the way, fentanyl, while extremely dangerous on the street, deadly on the street, it is administered in hospitals. And, you know, that's where you're supposed to get it, is fentanyl in hospitals because it's for pain, not on the street. There's a huge difference here.
very huge difference. In hospitals, it's controlled and it's microdosed. Here on the streets, it is not microdosed,
Right.
and you have no idea who or how much fentanyl was put in it by who, and you never know what you're getting.
So when they're pressed into pills and they have fentanyl, could be any dose, could be any quality.
Right. I mean,
It may not be pure.
you have someone on the streets that is guessing,
Right.
and if you take a chance and take a pill that wasn't
Then
prescribed to you, I mean, you could pay with your life.
Sure. Then that's why we see so many overdoses, and then their tolerance is getting bigger and bigger, and so they're doing that.
We're seeing every type of drug kind of laced with fentanyl as well, which makes
Enhances
these
the experience.
these
I would imagine.
black market deals even more dangerous. So
Right.
Yeah. So tell me, parents that are watching, they're hearing about all these different drugs. And I'm sure having different street names from what the names the parents may know as methamphetamine, whatever, they may not recognize when their kids are talking about it. So what do parents look for? What would you recommend if you were talking to them right now, which you are? What do they look for and know something's going on with my kid? And what do I need to look for in their rooms?
Watch for changes in behavior. Watch for their grades to start dropping. Disengaged from their family. Look in their rooms. Make sure that
no privacy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they deserve privacy, but you need, if
Not
you
for the room.
suspect that something is going on with
Yeah.
your child, it's your job to investigate it.
Sure.
So get in there, make sure that you're not finding paraphernalia, whether it be pipes or rolling papers or needles or
Sure.
spoons that look like they've been burnt, or
This is a clue.
powder residue on something in the room where they crushed a pill or used an illegal substance.
So they're going to.
Vape pens, THC vape pens.
That's important,
Fairly
yeah.
new development as far as ingesting drugs. So you have these kids with vape pens.
Right, and it is causing quite havoc on our schools. We're weekly, kids are bringing a THC pen and they're passing out because it's strong and they can't handle it.
It has happened a lot this year. I know that, and it's
That's
dangerous.
That's
Yeah.
horrifying to a parent. So what is the history? Why do we see this huge uptick in heroin? Because I know that having been here 21 years, there was times that we didn't hear about heroin on the streets here. And then suddenly we've got this heroin problem. But there's a reason.
Well, so pill mills were strong back in the day. We even had them here. You would ride by certain locations and the parking lots would be full, line wrapped around the building of people going in to get narcotics.
They were getting prescriptions for like
Prescription.
900 pills
Yeah,
for one person with
of
nonspecific
opioids.
back pain.
Jeez.
Right.
And then
And so these people got addicted to opioids in some way or
you had this
fashion.
huge market of addicted people, and
Right.
the pill mills went away.
The pill mills went away, and now they still have an addiction, and they're doing what they can to feed that addiction, and
Hello, heroin.
heroin or fentanyl.
Sure, that makes sense.
So when it comes to fentanyl and dealing with fentanyl, deputies have to deal with it. SID obviously has to deal with it. There are certain precautions that we take to not get exposed to it. Go ahead and talk about some of those precautions that are taken by the sheriff's office and should be taken by others as well.
We have gloves that are to protect us from fentanyl that we wear. You can also wear a mask, also to protect when you're moving it, if it leaves the paper
you don't
or the
inhale it?
bag it's in, so you don't inhale it. That
Yeah.
helps. It's not always the case though. We have been counting money before, and
Oh my goodness.
and there be fentanyl powder in it.
That actually happened recently.
Wow.
Recently, just a few weeks ago, where one of our
That-
deputies fell out because they were counting money.
Sure. So you have someone at home that's counting money.
Yeah.
They got it in. They had a garage sale. Who knows? They have cash, and so that could even be a danger.
Well, most of the time when we see it in this way, the bills are folded up, and when we unfold them,
Then
there's
you've
a powder.
got the powder inside.
But it's potent, and it. Back when I was a road lieutenant, one of my deputies passed out in a hospital from just touching a guy.
I remember that.
At a hospital on the beach, and
Yes.
2 nurses had to be
Were
Narcaned as
affected.
well.
What's crazy is there needs to be special gloves to handle fentanyl. Like, we have regular gloves for searching, but when it comes to dealing with fent is so strong that we have to use special fentanyl gloves. That's how dangerous
So
it
it won't
is.
go through the.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous.
The-
If
the
you
texture of the
suspect
gloves.
it in your home, call us. Don't mess with it.
They can call you. I mean, parents can call you if they're suspecting their kid is involved. They can call you here. Our number is 850-747-4700. Now there may be parents and grandparents that went through surgery. They get way more pain pills than they could ever use or needed to use, and they just put it in a medicine cabinet or in a closet or a drawer or whatever, and the kids are finding them.
Right.
And how do they handle that?
All right, so I would lock narcotics up. And if you're not using them anymore, get them out of your house. You can bring them to our front lobby here at the sheriff's office, and we have a bin out there, and you can dispose
Yes.
of them. Walk in,
No questions asked.
put them in the bin,
and
and you're
leave.
done. That way you don't have the burden of worrying about if anyone's going to get to them.
Sure.
While we're on that subject, your THC vape pens, and if you have a medical marijuana card at your home and you're allowed those items, lock those up. Kids at school they talk to each other.
Yeah.
Some kids are not as nice as others, and so your kid's getting a lot of information at school.
Sure.
And if they see a pill bottle, they may try it. If they see a vape pen, they may try it. So lock those items up.
Sure. It just remains safe. What if a person lives in a neighborhood and they think there may be some type of illicit drug activity?
That was my question. Like, what if
What do
what
they
happens
do?
if my neighbor has traffic coming in and out, and it's not the traffic that I want? I'm used to seeing on the street, and I'm suspecting something. Where do I go from there? Because there's a lot of people like that, neighbors that are concerned about their neighbors possibly doing something they shouldn't be.
There's a few ways you can do that. You can call the Special Investigations Division. You don't have to leave a name. Tell us the
You
activity.
can remain anonymous.
Correct.
Okay.
Crime Stoppers
And
is
you can remain anonymous and maybe even get a reward.
and
Use
also
them.
you can get yes, and also you can use our website and leave something on there for
Our
us.
app on your smartphone, you can
That's
use that.
correct.
It's got a little icon that says tips.
These are for legitimate tips, by the way. Not if your dog is pooping, neighbor's dog is pooping on your lawn. These are for legitimate tips.
Correct.
Yeah, please.
Drug tips.
Right.
So they can do that and get in contact with you. Now, one thing I do want to say, when you get that tip, it's not like the arrest is going to happen later that day, unless you've
Absolutely
already
not.
been working that particular location.
That's correct.
And the person didn't know it, because it takes time to gather what we talked about earlier, which is that probable cause.
Right.
You can't just say, someone said you're doing drugs, we're coming to make an arrest.
No,
and search
not
your
even
home.
close. It takes my guys a lot of hard work, a lot of investigations, and techniques that we have, and then we have to present it to the judge, and then is the day we go to the house.
So it takes time.
It does
Be
take time.
patient. Be patient, folks.
Right.
We're working on it, but it's not always, and shouldn't be obvious to the person in the neighborhood that the cops are on to them, because then the person you're targeting is probably going to change their behavior or move away or whatever.
Something that the sheriff's office has been working on diligently is controlling, with the drug problem, controlling the overdoses that happen and trying to, I guess, mitigate those numbers. And I believe we've got some unbelievable numbers as
It's
far
good
as
numbers.
the progress made for the overdoses that have happened here in Bay County and how much the numbers have gone down.
Right. So over the last 2 years, we've went down 60% in total overdose cases for the sheriff's office. That's not including
Right.
the other agencies. And 65% were down on overdose deaths. And I attribute that to my guys' hard work and people not being afraid to call when someone is overdosing, and us and EMS being able to get there and Narcan people to save them.
And let's talk about Narcan, because that is definitely a hot button topic that, deputies in our car, we have Narcan. It's
EMS
available.
has
EMS
Narcan.
has Narcan. It's available at pharmacies.
Yes.
Let's talk about the effect of Narcan and what it's had on this community and just overdoses in general.
So opioids will stop you from breathing. Narcan will reverse that effect.
Temporarily.
Temporarily.
Yeah.
Depending on your dose, your age,
Right.
a lot of different factors.
Right. If for some reason you know someone or you have overdosed, do not think that the Narcan is going to be it, because you could go back into the overdose again and
Yeah.
pass away.
Sure.
You need to go to the hospital if you overdose. We're not going to come bug you at the hospital. Go get the treatment you need.
Sure.
And then
Don't you sometimes have to use 2 and 3 applications of Narcan to even see any results? in that
yes,
person who's
I guess
overdosed?
people's tolerance is getting a lot stronger, and it has taken multiple Narcans to bring people out of it.
And when we apply Narcan anyway, it is a nasal spray.
That is correct.
So that's how we administer it, and EMS too, probably. But in
That's
the
correct.
hospital, you can, IV.
So you're
Narcan
talking
help.
about the different, how many doses that we have to give sometimes. But it never used to be like that. When Narcan was first created and available to us, it never took multiple doses to do that, right?
Right. No, it's people are getting immunity built up to it, I'm assuming,
And does that have to do with the strength of the drugs that are being manufactured as well?
or the amount they're taking.
Yeah.
They're just getting used to it.
Right.
And so and that's another problem I heard, that when you arrest them and they go to jail for however length of time and serve their time and they get out, they think they still have that same level of tolerance, and that's where you see overdoses as well.
Right. And
People getting
speaking
back
of
on
the
street.
jail, we have programs at the jail
Yes, the
for
Lifeline
drug
program.
offenders. And it's changing lives over there at the jail. So I really appreciate what they're doing to help rehabilitate these people.
If you'd like more information, watch the last episode with Major Anglin of Behind the Star.
We'll be doing another episode soon with the lady that runs that program from the
Good.
jail. So that's exciting. We're looking forward to that.
There's a lot of people in this office that want to be a part of the SID program. Their main goal is to one day be a part of the Special Investigations Division. However, you're very picky, as you should be, of selecting those few that get to be a part of SID. What are those requirements that you look for in a deputy?
Team player. You have to be a team player. We're a very small unit. So you have to be a team player. We have to mesh well. Proactivity. Everything we do is proactive. It's not given to us. So I'm looking for that deputy that's out there beating the streets, looking for narcotics and making arrests on them. I'm looking for guys that have tactics, that we enter a lot of homes.
Yeah.
We do a lot of dangerous traffic stops. So I need someone who's on their game and that can do it.
You're dealing with the worst of the worst people here in Bay County and in the country. And I think that's extremely important. Tactics, proactivity, and keeping on their training, obviously, as well.
That's
Right.
wonderful. And then there's on-the-job training. Once they're
Right.
in your unit, they're going to be learning even more.
That is correct.
A little bit more specialized training. And you have a dog assigned to the unit,
We do.
Miss Fila.
Dog!
She's wonderful. Black lab.
She is an amazing dog.
And she is the one that kind of runs around the cars and lets you know if there's something inside, so you have that probable cause to
She
cut
has a
into
lot
the
of
car.
uses.
Yes.
She does very good work.
We like her very much. So why do you do what you do? Because it's a job that's never done. I mean, when you
We-
go home, whenever you guys get to go home, because you have crazy hours
Yeah,
we
over
do have
there
crazy
in
hours.
SID. We all know that. And I can call you at 11 o'clock in the morning. You're like, I haven't even gone home. I've been out all night and typing something up. So I know it's crazy. So I do it. Do you ever get tired? Do you ever, what is it that drives you?
Kids. We see a lot of search warrants we go into where there's kids in the home and they can touch the drugs that are right there beside them. The families of Bay County, anytime that, you have drugs in the community, it does affect you whether you believe it or not. People who are on drugs are going to steal from you. People who are on
So property crimes
property
go
crimes
up.
go up. It's someone's family member that's ODing.
Sure. Somebody's son, somebody's grandson, somebody's nephew,
Yeah,
somebody's brother
right.
or sister.
We could talk forever with you about this. I mean, we've learned so much. We've learned street names. We've learned types of drugs. We've learned signs to look for. Unfortunately, we're out of time. However, this is an ongoing series, so we might have you back, or one of your SID units. Well, probably not, because they don't want to be on camera, but we'll have you back. But until then, thank you. Appreciate
Yes.
it.
I think on behalf of all the parents,
Yeah.
of all the people in Bay County that may not see you to say this, but thank you for what you do, all your guys and gals, for what you do.
it's a
for our
small unit, but
community.
you guys make a huge difference
Yes,
for
you
sure.
do.
Oh, we appreciate it.
Thank you.